G'day guys, so before we start this video today, I'd just like to thank all the subscribers and all the viewers. We're sort of getting a fair few views, more than I ever thought I would get, so that's awesome. So today we're actually kitting out the Canopy. I'm on my way to Bunnings at the moment. I need to buy some ply or MDF or some sort of material with some marine carpet to sort of box up the interior of the Canopy so I can mount my switch panel and all that sort of stuff. So we're just heading there now. Righto guys, so I'm back from Bunnings now. I've picked up some ply and I've picked up some marine carpet. I haven't actually shown the Canopy on the ute, but I did get that put on. It's just 4 bolts sort of holding it in, but I decided to cut the headboard off because it sort of sat up a bit high and it didn't exactly follow the curves and I wasn't happy with it. So I think, to be honest, I'm just going to leave it like that for now because I think it looks quite good. But also have picked up a Titan drawer. So that's just a single 900mm lockable drawer. I've picked up a Titan fridge slide for my Ingle fridge. I've got a dual battery. I've got a solar panel. I've got all my dual battery stuff, rocker switches, fuse holder, solar regulator, USB, cigarette lighter, and a voltmeter. And some lights as well. So today we're just going to start putting a skin up on this wall so I can mount my switch panel to the side of it, and I'm putting a false floor in so that way you can sort of pull the drawer out without it catching on this lip here. So I've never done anything like this before, so it's going to take a bit of thinking. The first step to do is probably the floor, so I'm going to nail that first. I've got some 50mm box laid out, 2 rails. I think that's all I should need. I'm not going to put a crazy amount of weight on this thing, so I've already drilled some large holes in the top, and that'll allow me to put a drill bit and a tech screw down the center to brace it to the floor. So they're 50mm box. There's still a tiny bit of a lip here, but I've got marine carpet and the plywood's actually 10mm thick, so it should sit up a little bit. I might have to space the drawer up again, but that's all I've got for now. So we're going to lay the floor on and see how we go. All right, I've got some self-tapper screws, and I've just put a line here to indicate where these rails run so we can screw off to them after. And let's see how we go. Alright, so I've got the runners screwed to the Canopy now. So the next step is to make the plywood fit the top of it like a floor. And then we've got some spray adhesive and we'll lay some carpet down on top of that to make it look pretty. So I've got Bunnings to cut as much as I could, and it's a very tight fit, so I am going to have to nick some off just to make it sit in there nicer. So I'm going to get to that now. So far so good. So cut the floor up. I just had to take some off the sides and she fit in quite snug now. So next step is to actually throw some carpet on it. Alright, so that's all screwed off. Time to test fit it because it will be a little bit wider now, but I did cut some grooves in there so I can sort of just press fit it in. So we'll just see how that turns out. Righto, so it's a bloody tight fit. It's pushed up the carpet a tiny bit, but it looks pretty good in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to get too carried away with it. I'm putting a wall up against this side here, so you won't even see that anyway. But yeah, I think it come out really nice. I like this black carpet. I think it looks awesome. So this is the bottom. So this is now that line there is now that rail there. Call that the bottom. The very top. There we're on 50 mil. On the floor we are 370. So, if I'm right, that is our pitch. So we've had to cut them in half just so we can slot it behind that, but it's not going to make any difference if they're in half. It doesn't bother me at all. And also I was going to sort of slot that out, but in order to slide that in I had to take that out, so it's all good. Got these cut in half and fit up reasonably nicely. I'm not really happy with this corner here, but it is what it is. I'm not doing it again. So just got to lay some carpet on it, same process as before, and then that'll actually give it a bit more height, which would be good, and we'll screw it up. It's probably not the best to do this on concrete, but got this piece of stainless steel here, and before we carpet this section, this is actually what the switch panel is going to go onto. So we've got all this 12 volt gear here, and it's going to be laid out onto this. Now this is already pre-cut, so I'm going to try and cut it with an angle grinder, and it's stainless steel, so I hope that it's a nice cut. Before we carpet this, I need to skill saw out a hole to suit this, and then that way we can have this sort of resting in there and put the switch panel in. Alright, so I've cut that stainless steel plate here. And I've marked out, given a 10 mil sort of border, and that's going to be the beam. So I've marked out, I've got to hollow this out with the skill saw. That way all the electrics can sort of fit behind there, and then I'll run some leads down to the battery. In order to get that blade in, I just got to drill a little pilot hole. That way we can start jigsawing out. So just neatly in a corner somewhere. That's that bit, and then the stainless steel cover will pretty much go into here. I'll probably do just 4 screws and that'll sort of hold that down. So I've done away with the stainless plate because it's just too hard to drill, it's too hard to screw, it's too hard to mount stuff with. You've got to really deburr, and I did deburr and it still cuts up your wires. So I've got a piece of plexiglass here. So this stuff, once you cut it, it's very brittle to cut. But once you cut it, it doesn't have such a rough edge like the stainless does. So I'm going to use this as a mounting plate, and hopefully I don't stuff it up because it's the only bit I've got. Right guys, so I've just finished up the switch panel. Obviously nothing's wired in yet. It's getting kind of late today, so I think that's going to be another video now. So that's pretty much what it looks like. We've got our 12 volt socket, 2 USB ports, 4 rocker switches, a fuse block which makes its own circuit, so you just run 12 volt to the top here, and then you put a fuse in and you get 12 volt out. I've got my solar controller and a volt and amp meter, so it's pretty much just a basic setup. The rocker switches are going to be for some lights in the cab, possibly a water pump and lights on each corner back here. And then I'm just going to leave one spare just in case I add something down the line. So I think it's looking pretty good. I'm glad I went with this plexiglass. After drilling these holes and stuff like that, it would have just taken probably the rest of the day just to work with the stainless. So I'm going to screw this up. As you can see, that's bloody on the wall and it looks pretty cool, I reckon. So we've got USB, we've got a 12 volt cigarette socket, we've got 4 rocker switches, we've got a fuse block, a voltmeter, and the solar controller. So pretty basic setup, as I said before, but it's enough to get the job done. So now that that's done, there's only the 2 things left for today, and that's getting the fridge slide in and the fridge on it, and getting the drawer in the other side. So let's do that now. Last screw for the fridge slide. We should be able to just put that up into there. So we have a working fridge slide now. I had to use about a 20mm box section to just raise that up over that lip, but that should be sweet. Come up good. Alright, so we're finished up for today. That's all I'm going to get done. We've obviously today done the Titan fridge slide, Ingle fridge. I've started to clean it up because it's a used fridge. It was like that, and then I've buffed this side back to that. So eventually I'll do the whole thing and hopefully it'll come up brand new. We've obviously done the switch panel, and then we've done the floor and the side wall. And then over the other side, just quickly, I've just sat the drawer in there, so I don't know how else everything's going to go yet. I'm just going to have a think about it, but that's all for tonight. So if you like the content, please subscribe, and yeah, we'll be doing plenty more to this ute, so look forward to it.